right, we'll go ahead and get started and allow people to trickle in. Welcome, ideas, folks. Linda, Tanya, welcome. We have another special guest for you today, and we're actually going to go ahead and get started on time. But just some housekeeping tips before we get started is that we are recording this, and we're putting all of the recordings in the Ideas Hub for you all. Thank you for your patience. So you'll have a whole library of experts who are giving you strategy on how to do Mailchimp right? So hopefully you are able to leverage this by being here live, and you can ask any questions that you might have about Mailchimp and Donna's presentation shortly. But I'm actually going to pass it over to William, who is Donna's partner development lead. And so he's going to provide an introduction to Donna. She is your Mailchimp expert for today. And then any questions that you all ask through the Zoom registration form, we are going to get to them after Donna's presentation. So William, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to you.
Hey everyone, and thanks for joining once again. William Howard here with the Mailchimp Partner Development Team. This week, and then the weeks coming, you've probably heard we're bringing in partners to showcase their skill set and just provide education for certain aspects of the Mailchimp platform. So today we do have Donna Duggan, a great and engaged partner within our network, and she's been so adamant about presenting herself and being in front of customers and just being like a great asset for Mailchimp as a whole. So really excited to intro her, but she can probably do better than I am. But we'll pass it on to her, and she'll talk today about growing your list and giving those insights and tips to like build your audience. And just really create that routine growth through list health. So take it away, Donna.
Thank you, William. So yeah, hi guys. My name's Donna and I've been a Mailchimp partner for around, I think, 6 years now. And I have been using Mailchimp for about 10 years. And you can probably hear from my accent that I'm based in the UK. So today we're going to look at how to build and maintain a robust audience for your email marketing campaign. So I hope you find these slides useful. So this just a little rundown of what we're going to be covering in the next half hour or so. It's worth mentioning that getting a new customer is 5 times more expensive than retaining an existing one. So that's why it's important to grow and nurture your mailing lists. So yeah, and give them the content that they need, so which we can go through as we continue through these slides. So first off is the sign-up forms. The hosted sign-up form dictates all of the process forms that Mailchimp holds for you. So your forward to a friend, your unsubscribe, your recapture forms are all dictated by how you design your hosted sign-up form. And this form, along with the embed form, can be found in forms on the navigation panel on the left-hand side of your account, and then other forms. That's where the hosted sign-up form lives. And I just wanted to show you that this is a hosted sign-up form that I did for Salisbury Cathedral here in the UK. You can see that they hit you with brand recognition straight away. So it's clear who is asking you to sign up. There's a really nice big photo of the cathedral and their logo sitting bottom left. It's important that when you are guiding people to sign up, that they immediately know that it's who they're signing up with. So the transition from wherever their entry point was to this hosted sign up form is there's no disassociation with branding. So Salisbury Cathedral here, their incentive is that they're willing to share with you information about their concerts, their worship services, and special events. So that's a really nice incentive. So if you are asking people to share their email address with you, you want to make sure that you're giving them something valuable. And in this instance, people want to feel part of the community and attend events and things at the cathedral. So it's important to have like a really good value incentive in there. And then on this form, obviously capturing email address and first name are usually the two data fields that people ask for, brands ask for, and in this instance, last name as well. One thing to mention, you can see here that Salisbury Cathedral is using groups so that the customer can choose the type of emails that they want to receive. The groups are listed here at the bottom. So there's news and events, worship updates, peregrine falcons, because they actually have peregrine falcons nesting in the tower, which is really cool. And then visitor updates. So groups are a little hidden in Mailchimp these days, but they're still a really valuable tool and can help with segmentation from the off. You can find groups in the audience section of Mailchimp. And they can be visible or hidden on the hosted sign up form, depending on whether you want your subscribers to self-select at the beginning of their relationship with you. What else to tell you? Hosted sign up forms are shared through a URL that you'll find on the page where you're creating the form. And you can include that URL in your email footers or on social media. And it's the best way to get people directly to the point of sign up. It's best to use the hosted sign up form rather than directing people to a web page, because otherwise, when they get to your homepage, they have to scroll down through everything else that you've got on your homepage to find what's usually an embedded form at the bottom of the homepage. So, yeah, the hosted sign up form is the way to go here. And this is an example of my own hosted sign up form, because I was just saying to Joss just before the session that I can't show you this in the demo account because there aren't any forms associated with that account. So I'm showing you mine. I just wanted to mention that the sign up form fields, this is really important, define your data architecture. So all the data you capture about a contact has a data field. Now, when you remove that field from your hosted sign-up form, this is an important point, the data is also deleted from your audience. So let's just sit with that for a moment. So the data, if you delete the form from your system, the data field, it will delete it from your audience as well. So I wouldn't advise deleting a field unless you're sure you don't need the information associated with it. My advice would be to hide a field if you don't want it visible to your customer, and then you can retain the data, but it won't be visible. And also be aware that data fields, as I said, are visible to the customer. So it matters on how you label them. So the naming convention is really important, and it makes sure that it makes sense to the business. Like I've gone into client accounts and seen data fields that are called things like attended our summer party 2019, and then your customer can see that when they land on your hosted sign up form if the data fields are visible. So yeah, the data fields can be managed moving on to by in the build it section of the page. So there are 3 sections when you're building your hosted sign up form, and there's build it, design it, and translate it. So we've talked a little bit about building it there in the data fields that you might want to capture. And then design it is where you add your hex codes and your logo and the blurb about why a person should sign up. So you would add all your branding there and make sure again that it aligns with how you're presenting yourself online and the colors that you use in your website. And then this last point on this slide is actually second to last point. So there's another really important point. But the translate it section, when you've gone through build it, design it, to translate it. And I wish I'd known this when I started working with Mailchimp all those years ago, because when you're in the translate it section, which is where you can set your default language, you can also customize the subscribe button. So for years on subscribe forms, I just had a button saying subscribe, which is fine, but it's not like super inviting. And so if you go to the subscribe field in the translate section, you can use a call to action that is more interesting. So for my own form, I've put interested, click here. And a call to action is CTA. CTA is the abbreviation. So if you see this in the slides as we go on, that's what I mean. And the most important point here is don't deliver your lead magnet on your sign up form. I've also seen that a lot, and It basically negates the point of the sign up form because you're holding your valuable content behind the data capture email. So if you're delivering your content at the point of sign up, then people won't leave their email address, which is the whole point of collecting data and growing your list. Okay, moving on. So this is the embed form. So an embed form is a form that's embedded on your website. That's basically what it is. And it usually can be found at the bottom of a website's homepage. And it feeds contacts directly into your Mailchimp audience. There is no visible or hide option here with the embed form, but the data fields can be toggled on and off. So the functionality is similar and the outcome is the same. One thing that is different about the embed form is that a tag can be applied. So if you want to know the point of entry of sign up, you can use a tag to do that. So the naming convention might be EP entry point and then website. So you can see where they've at the point at which they've entered your system, because you might want to greet them differently according to their entry point. If you know they've come in through the website rather than a pop-up, for instance, you might want to create the welcome series slightly differently. And then also you can see in the image here all of the code. And so I just wanted to say, don't be scared of that code. I don't know if any of you are web developers or have any idea about code, but it looks super scary and the code is very long. But all I do with this when I work with clients is I copy the code using that copy code button, and then I send it to a web developer that the client or the client usually has a web developer that they are working with, and then that web developer knows where to put the code so that it shows on your homepage, the footer. So yeah, that's all you need to do with that. Hopefully you're working with someone who is au fait with these sorts of things and can deal with that code for you. So you just copy the code, send it to the person who deals with your website, and it will be embedded for you. Okay. Mailchimp landing pages, one of my favorite functions in the Mailchimp suite of features, because you don't need to involve your web designer with these. You don't need to involve your web dev to build these pages. You can do it yourself. This is a free and powerful tool for list growth, and you can build as many as you want. There is no restriction here at all. You can have as many landing pages as you want within Mailchimp. So I think that's really cool. One thing I wanted to mention here was that landing pages haven't had a glow up for quite some time from Mailchimp. So when you create one, you'll be using the create button and choosing the landing page option instead of email. And when you land there, you'll see the classic editor interface, not the new builder. So it's a little clunky, but you can still build a perfectly serviceable landing page that will reflect your branding and provide a seamless entry point for the customer. But yeah, if you're using the new editor, you might just land in the Mailchimp landing pages and think, oh, what's this interface? I've never seen this before. And that's normal, but all the functionality is there. And it's absolutely fine to use that interface and create your landing pages for whatever you need. So like the embed form, you can tag from here, which is super useful, and the data flows straight into your audience. You can use a landing page to collect competition entries, or as with this Herb and Wood example, you can use buttons to drive traffic to their websites. The Let's Party and the Reach Out buttons lead to their private event booking page. So in terms of the layout of these landing pages, you're looking for a nice big headline here, and then again, use your brand logo and a clear CTA to get the best out of these pages. Just make it really simple to use so the data flows straight into your audience without any friction. These bespoke landing pages can also be triggers for automations. We're calling them flows now, but I'm still calling them automations. A customer fills in their details and has indicated through doing that that they're interested in a specific offer or event. So you can then start them off on a journey to share a greater level of information with them. So you're beginning to create stronger ties with them. So that's a really cool thing that landing pages can do as well. And you can use them to promote events or competitions on social, like I said, without using your website developer. Okay. And pop-up forms. So pop-up forms are a great way of capturing data and are the new kids on the block at Mailchimp and a recent addition to the data capture suite of options. You can go ahead and pick any of the templates and edit from there. There are tons of templates to choose from. And when you get in there and choose your template, there are like discount and events, all sorts of ones to choose from. Mailchimp advised you to edit a template and not build from scratch, as the navigation can be a little confusing at the beginning. So these templates are mobile optimized and fully editable. So definitely go with the template and then just amend it to your branding accordingly. You can use them to collect data when a customer is browsing on any of your web pages. And you can also exclude the pop-up form from showing to previous visitors that have already signed up and have it only show to new website visitors. So that's a neat little bit of functionality then, because I don't know how you guys feel about them, but pop-ups used to be like a real like bad thing, like popping up all over the show, but that's not the case now. So you can control when people see them and how they see them. There are scroll-based triggers. The pop-up can appear when someone scrolls to the bottom of the page, or it can surface at exit intent, which means when somebody is moving to exit a web page. And that last point here on this slide, what I mean by planning ahead for this entry point is, if someone signs up for a discount, then I would definitely prioritize the conversion. Whereas if they sign up to hear more about your brand, then you prioritize the conversation. I hope that makes sense. So you deliver that discount code as the very first thing that you do in a welcome email. That could be the only thing those subscribers are interested in at that moment in time. So you want to deliver it quickly. So this slide is lead magnets and giveaways. So in case you guys don't know what a lead magnet is, it's just a fancy way of saying that you're going to give a customer something valuable in return for their email address. So examples of lead magnets can include ebooks, checklists, free trials, exclusive content, webinars. The key is to offer something valuable and relevant to your target audience. So I mentioned earlier about delivering the discount code or lead magnet in your welcome email and not on the sign up form. You might be wondering how to gift them an ebook when Mailchimp doesn't allow attachments. So you do that by using a hyperlink. You basically highlight the word or copy that the customer clicks, and then you use the hyperlink button and attach a file which is housed in your content suite within Mailchimp. And that way, when it's clicked, Mailchimp will download the file from its system into the hard drive of the customer if they're on desktop. I hope that makes sense. Maybe if it doesn't, Joss will probably tell me at the end that this is all kicking off in the chat. As we're talking about growing and nurturing your audience in this session, a great way to begin your relationship with a customer is to ask a question in your welcome email or add a survey. So this is a good idea for two reasons. It allows you to collect more data on the customer, something that perhaps you didn't or couldn't ask at sign up, which then allows you to greater segment in the future, allows you greater segmentation. And the second reason is that if the customer replies and answers your question, it provides a trust signal to those pesky inbox gatekeepers. And that trust signal is an indicator that your email campaign isn't spam and should remain in the inbox. So yeah, there's just a couple of ideas there to think about when you are delivering your welcome email with any discount codes or wanting to start a conversation. Just grab some water. And then using social media for list growth. So obviously, as we all know, social media is like a really powerful tool for list growth. You can promote your newsletter across all your platforms and use pinned posts to keep sign-up links visible. I'm sure you all know about pinned posts, but they're those posts on your profile that keep content top of mind for visitors. If visitors to your profile page can see immediately that you have a newsletter, and that there is a juicy incentive to sign up, there's a greater likelihood that they'll go ahead and do it. As I've mentioned previously, you can run contests that require email signups to enter. Instagram and Facebook stories are obvious contenders here, and they can be great for promoting time-sensitive offers. Just as an aside, an example that you might find useful, this week I promoted my newsletter on LinkedIn by teasing like a newish Mailchimp function. It is the email size progress bar. And I told people what it was and why it was important, but not where to find it within Mailchimp. So instead, I told them that there was a Loom video within my newsletter that showed exactly where to find the progress bar. So that is an example of me encouraging signups by providing content that sits behind a data capture link. I also reposted that post on LinkedIn a few hours later to try and maximize its reach. So you could try doing something similar and include your URL that I mentioned earlier in the hosted sign up form on your LinkedIn post, or wherever your audience is. Might not be LinkedIn, could be Instagram, could be Facebook, wherever they reside. Oh, and also don't forget to use social proof. So you can show people how many subscribers you have or share testimonials. And you can use Mailchimp to ask for testimonials too. And I would advise that you do that because they're really useful. Okay, so this is my last slide in this little bite-size how to grow your email list slide deck. And it's about maintaining list health because I think this is really important. So growing your list is super important, but managing its health is equally important. Over time, people unsubscribe or become disengaged, and that's okay. It's part of the passing of time as people's interests change. So that's why I say unsubscribes are okay, folks. Don't take it personally. We all have them. You might find over time that your list contains a lot of people that have unsubscribed, and I would advise regularly archiving these people so that you aren't paying for contacts that you can't market to. And this will also prevent your bill becoming inflated. Another thing to mention is you might feel like this is a good thing to do, but it's really not. So don't hide the unsubscribe link or make it so teeny tiny that people can't see it, because it will only annoy people. And then there is the possibility that they also might mark you as spam. If they can't see a way to unsubscribe quickly and easily, they just drift to the complaint button, and we don't want to go there. That's a whole other raft of problems and a whole nother ideas seminar about the problem of spam complaints. So let them go gracefully is my advice, and not to get too into the weeds again about this, but you could have a little think about re-engagement campaigns for the future. And when you're looking at your how your campaigns are doing with open rates and click rates, if they start to fall over time, and there's been a drop over a few months, that means that people are maybe moving away from your list, like the natural progression, like I mentioned about interests and people's interests changing. So you could create an automation or flow that asks the customer if they still want to hear from you. You could ask them if they still wanted to hear from you, if they haven't engaged with you after 90 days, depending on your sending frequency. And then if they don't respond to you, and if they continue to ignore you, it's okay to manage them out of your audience. So zombie contacts can be a drain on both your finances and your performance, and it's okay to let them go. And the other thing I wanted to just mention was that archiving is preferable to deleting contacts, because if you archive a contact in Mailchimp, the data from every way that they've interacted with you is retained. So if in the future they resubscribe, they carry that data back in with them. So it's best to archive rather than delete contacts if you are starting to think about managing people out of your database. Okay. So there we go. I hope that was useful, and I hope you, yeah, found those recommendations insightful about growth, yeah, list growth. And I wondered if Jocelyn had any questions in the chat, or if anyone has any questions.
I do see a couple of questions. So Linda had a question in the actual Q&A. I think she had a question earlier in your presentation about the newsletter, but Linda, could you please clarify what you were looking for to answer? It was answered. Oh, okay, got it. Perfect. So I
Yay.
guess thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. Linda and I have been working really closely. She's got a big launch coming, so she's trying to drive some sales for graduations. So
Oh,
that's
fingers
really awesome.
crossed.
Yeah, perfect timing. Um, I don't see any other, like there was a question about automations and setting up a drip campaign, which is tied to this, right? Like I was wondering if we could talk about that a little bit while you're here and get your expert advice.
Sure.
Um, because when you set up, like, for an example, the lead magnets, right? Like
Mm.
those are typically like those offers that you would, incentives that you would offer somebody to join your list, right? Like there's different
Yes.
incentives to get them to join. But what happens after they sign up is a question. And it's just like that's automation. Like what are your takes on setting up a welcome email flow or a whole nurture series or a drip campaign, like where would you recommend to start with that? One email, three emails, like what? Just curious in your view.
So I would do probably two or three. And what I like to do now is I we're all still calling them welcome emails, and that is fine. But I think given the way people are navigating their inboxes these days, it's almost like inbox optimization rather than search engine optimization. So, how you are orienting people in these welcome series is really important. So, you can share information about what they can expect from you. You can share information about frequency. You can share information if there is a reason that if there's a service that you are offering and you know from your FAQs that everybody wants to know answer a specific question. You can answer that in the welcome series. So trying to orient people as to what they can expect and how they can surface your emails in very, very busy inboxes now is really important, because don't forget that AI can now look at when you're search, you'll know this all yourselves from searching through your emails to find specific actions that you want to take, like reminders, appointments, all of those things that we all have to do, and juggling all those plates. If you're very specific in your welcome emails about what it is that you are giving your customer, it's easier for those emails to surface. So be very clear in your subject lines and in your sender envelope on who it's from, what your brand name is. You'll know from experimenting, or if you have done any testing, whether the sender envelope is your name or your business name, and then make it very clear what it is that you're offering and what is contained within that email, so that when AI is zipping through your emails trying to find the answer to the question you've just asked, your welcome emails will surface and be retrieved. So that's what I would recommend.
That's perfect. I got another question. Thank you for that. You said
Okay.
something that we haven't talked about yet, but I know as a big thing now that we have these agents, like you said, AI agents in Gmail, and it's basically filtering out emails for us and prioritizing emails. And like you
Mm,
said, it's more and more and more important to make sure that people know who you are.
yes.
Like it's just like they get an email from you. Is it from you as the business owner or is it from you as the actual company? Like, what would you
Yeah.
recommend? Like, because you're still trying to get that personal touch, to folks, but
Yeah.
somebody may not know you're the owner kind of
I
thing.
know, and I like there a few years ago now. It was really popular to have your name, to make it personal, and have your name in the sender envelope. But I really feel like unless you are your business, like I am my business, everybody knows I'm Donna Duggan and I'm Mailchimp, and that's what I say when I go into any networking room. It's like I'm just saying Mailchimp partner. People know that it's me, Donna Duggan. But if your business is your brand name, people won't remember your Christian name. I really think people don't remember your name. So if your business is, something coffee, let's say, they will remember that. They won't remember that it's Jocelyn from the Real Coffee Company. The only time I ever advise clients to do anything differently than that, and also I caveat that by saying, please test, because what I'm saying here is just my opinion. It might be different for your audience. So I need to make that really clear. You need to test what I'm saying. But the only reason I ever advise clients to do any different is if they're a medium-sized company, the brand name is well established, and they want to send a message from the CEO. And at that point, I would use Jocelyn, the Real Coffee Company. But all of the time, your business as usual emails would just be the Real Coffee Company. Because if they can't remember your name and they type in coffee, AI will surface coffee email to the top. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. I see that all the time, and I'm like, who is this person emailing me? And
I
I don't
know. I,
like it's
I
spam.
know. And that's the thing, because the inboxes are so busy, you can't remember people's names. I have trouble remembering my children's teachers' names. I'm not going to remember someone from a random coffee company.
Right, right. Unless like if you have a personal like one-to-one relationship with those folks, like if your brand is that
I know.
high
And
touch.
don't be fooled into thinking that they will remember your name, because they won't, because it's not an important piece of information to the customer. It's just
Right.
not. You think that you and what you're doing is really important. It's like, this is another example, and I'm wittering on. But when clients say to me, I'm going to send a mailer telling people about my new website, please don't, because the customers don't care about your new website. They don't care. Like, if you must use a flow and find your VIP customers, make them feel really special, offer them a big old discount, and then go, please, would you mind taking a look at my new website? Don't email everyone.
Right.
Nobody
Yeah.
cares.
Nobody cares and people don't do anything for free, I've noticed. Like they need
No,
like incentives and nudges. Like we all have a
yeah,
lot of things pulling at us. And it's just like,
yeah.
what can you do for me is
Don't
basically
do
how
it.
this all works.
Don't do it. Unless you're Taylor Swift, don't do it.
Right, right. Like, what can you make me do? What can you make me buy?
Yeah,
Like, why do I need this now? Kind of thing. So,
yeah,
out of all the things that I got going on, like, why should I open your email? Like, it's got to be a pretty big incentive for me to go through out of all these emails I got to open something. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. That makes total sense. We got a question for you in the chat, and it's talking about QR codes. And I'm thinking that this might be QR codes for the sign up form, or it could be a QR code for a landing page. But how can you easily get a QR code where people can actually sign up for your mailing list?
I think, and I was going to check this before this session, but Jocelyn, you might know the answer to this. But I think that you can get a QR code for the sign up form in the app.
Yep, I think
I'm
so.
I'm I'm pretty sure. I was going to check it and then I didn't, but I'm pretty sure because I have spoken to people about this before. And in the app, like when I've had clients who have been had stands at like events, like big like industry trade events, I'm pretty sure, unless it's been phased out, that when you go in the app on your phone, there's a QR code
Hmm.
in the app that leads to the sign up form, so you can get on the spot sign ups through the QR code. um I think that's still available. I haven't heard that it's not, but maybe
No,
we
it
could
is.
check that. It is still available,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yep.
it's in the app, and I don't know exactly where in the app, but I do know it's in there. And so that would be, if you were, if you had like if you were at a craft fair and you had all of your products on a table, instead of having the old-fashioned clipboard and sign-up form, you can open the Mailchimp app on your phone and have them scan the QR code, and then your sign-up form, exactly like the Salisbury Cathedral one or my one, would come up on the phone, and then they could add their details in at that point.
Mm-hmm. Gonna put a link in the chat to the KB article with this.
Oh,
Here we
I,
go.
Oh,
I
Oh,
just
you
did,
got
Jody. Yeah,
you beat me,
oh,
I
William.
didn't
my
want to
team!
interrupt.
What a great team!
For doing it. But yeah, there's an article in there, and you can learn a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the builder right now, but this article I think is a little bit out of date. That's why I'm trying to
Oh
find
yeah,
it.
you get a good example for sure.
Let's see. Go to all forms. Uh, yeah, I don't like I'm in the app right now and I'm not seeing like the instructions where this like it's the form builder has changed is what I'm saying. So let me see if I can try to find it. Okay, if you don't mind, can I take over the share, Donna, if you don't mind, and since I have
Yeah,
Mailchimp app?
yes.
Okay, okay.
Do I need to do anything, or can you just do it?
I think I
Do I
can
need to
just
stop sharing? I don't.
I think I can take over. Let me give it a shot.
Okay,
And Donna, you might have to give me some backup here. Because this is different. Like Mailchimp changes all the time.
all
And
the time.
Donna comes to all of our product update workshops. So we speak almost every month, for sure, once a month. But if you go to forms on the left side and click on settings, and
Hang
then
on. So
once you
I
go,
can't.
oh, can you see
Can
my
I
screen?
see? No, I can't. But can I? I can. Actually, should I just go? I can go into my. You can't see my screen now, can you? Because I'm just going into the demo account. I just want to make sure I'm
Oh,
not. Oh,
okay.
okay. I can
Yeah,
see
I
you. No,
just
I can see you now. Sorry,
Okay.
Joss, you go on.
there we go.
Okay. I'll share again.
Stop your
Okay.
sharing.
All right. So if I go to forms
Yeah,
and then I go to settings is where this is now, which is different, I think, than what that article says. And then I go to
yeah,
form builder and click on edit. There is a QR code there where
yeah,
you can, and even this looks a little like these little images are broken, but if you click on small, medium, or large, it'll give you,
yeah.
yeah, there's a QR code right there for you to download to do.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And actually, if you go back a screen, Jocelyn, it's really useful that 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 previous screen was where is what people will see when they go in to start designing their sign up form, and that's what all of the process forms will look like when you start off the sign up form for your business. So it will look like this, and that if you don't do anything to it, and I see this so many times, like when people unsubscribe, when people do recapture, or they've called their audience something really random. This is
Yes.
what people see. This is what people see when they come to. The first thing they know about your business is that you called the database something random,
Yes.
and it's just grey and white with no logo. So I really think that designing your the hosted sign up form is like job one. Before
Mm-hmm.
you send any emails out, go into forms, other forms, find your hosted sign up form, and design it, because it will pay dividends in the future because you just look more professional and trustworthy, basically.
Yeah, I like it. You can see that I have made this mistake clearly. Because I play around and test and all kinds of things to see what works, what doesn't work. But yeah, don't make the mistake that I have. Thanks. This is the
No,
best
I know.
example.
And you must have more of a you must have more of a higher admin setting than me, because I didn't get any form builder examples in my demo account.
Yeah, I think I made this because in this office hour session, I don't have a problem like going in here and I like that's probably how I've learned Mailchimp is by
Yeah,
coming in here
yeah,
and just not being afraid to make a mistake. Because
yeah.
there's
And I
a
was
lot
just going
to
to
learn.
say, On the this is what I was talking about the build it section, and these on the right hand side where Jocelyn is now. This is where you look would see whether your fields were visible or hidden. And can you see at the very bottom it says save field?
Mm-hmm.
That's really important to click that, because any changes that you make, if you don't save the field, you'll just navigate away from this section, and none of your changes will be saved. So yeah, just
Right.
remember every time that you make a change in the build it to save the field before you move on.
Got it. Good tip. Yes. This is probably one of the oldest parts of Mailchimp that has not
Mm.
changed. I will say
And
that.
yeah, and the landing pages, that's what I
Yeah.
mentioned in my
Yeah.
slides. They look really like like I said, they could use a glow up.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. They work, but it's like one of those things where like the pop-up forms, which I know that they are you know, they're new to Mailchimp. They're very, very advanced. But once you figure them out, and there's some new tools coming, I think next month that will help you create these pop-up forms. They have a lot more features. They're pre-designed, but they take some time and some patience to get going and added to your website. But they offer a lot of
Yeah.
different options. So, and the lead magnet, offers. Sometimes you can get some ideas by looking at this, but I will say there is someone that was here. She just hopped off. She has used the landing page, and it looks really, really nice. I wish I could remember her website, but she has gotten a lot of subscribers by putting a lot of effort in her pop-up form.
Oh, great. That's
Yeah.
good to hear.
Yes, 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 yes. So there are a lot of different options. I will say that, but pop-up forms clearly is the one that gets all the love.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, are there any other questions? Just to give it a little bit more time. Donna, how can we find you after this? Because there are some folks who couldn't make it. So could you let us know a little bit about that?
Yes, so you can find me. My website is donnaduggan.co.uk, or I'm on LinkedIn. And if you type in Donna Duggan Mailchimp, that usually surfaces me as well, even though I'm obviously not an employee. That is where you can find me. Oh, you can sign up to my newsletter.
Oh,
It's
that's
one
right.
mail. There you go. It's one Mailchimp tip a month. That's what I do. I just send one very short email tip a month, because there's always so much to say. And there's so many changes, like that email progress bar, the size bar that I mentioned in the slides. That was a really useful new function that came out. I don't know if people know about email size. Is it worth just mentioning that before we wrap up? So there's a
I
new, yeah, so there's a new function that's just come. So if you will all see this in your own inboxes, but if your email is too large, you'll receive a really large email from someone. I think it has to be, if it's over 102 kilobytes, it will get clipped in Gmail, and it's called Gmail clipping, and it will basically unceremoniously cut off your email. So anything below that size, nobody will see, because you have to click on a link to open the email in the web browser for the whole thing to be displayed. So anything that below where it drops it off, any buy buttons, anything like that won't be seen. And also, really most importantly, your unsubscribe link will also not be seen. So people will immediately start clicking on spam if they're not sure who it's from and you're not a trusted sender. So this has been a thing for years. And myself and the other partners have been directing people to just another website where you could quickly check the size of an email. And obviously, we don't want to do that, and Mailchimp don't want us to have to make our lives harder by going somewhere else to check email size. So now when you're in the section which you will all be in when you're checking your links in the preview section before you send your campaigns, there's now an email size progress bar where you can see it would be green if your email's nice and small, and I think it will be red, although I've never had an email that large to test that out, but it will indicate whether your email is too large to prevent the clipping. So that's really important, that your email is a manageable size for people's inboxes. And so that's a neat new function that Mailchimp have just released in the last couple of months to help us all out with email size and prevent us being marked as spam.
That's awesome. I didn't even notice this. That's how, yeah, I did not even, yeah. It's huge because people try to chalk in a lot of things in a newsletter. We do
Oh
that.
yeah,
William,
yeah,
William does emails now. I feel like William is an email marketer, and we put a lot of stuff in our newsletters, and it does cut it off at the bottom, and it's all very good information. So it's just like there's all these things that help you kind of
yeah.
be a great
And
marketer.
I get it as well. Like company, like you guys are all, business owners. You're spinning a lot of plates. You're trying to do a lot of things, and you think, I haven't got time to do 3 emails this week, this month, so I'm going to do everything in one. And you put in there your event and your social handles and this and that, and it gets longer and longer. And then you just take a breath and hit send. And then nobody knows the bottom half of what you were doing at the back end of May because it got clipped. But not anymore.
Appreciate that tip. That's awesome.
Cool.
All right. I think somebody asked, what is your pop-up page? And then I will send you a link to the pop-up page. I guess I'm trying to figure out what pop-up page you're referring to. Is it Donna? Did you have a pop-up form when you presented? Maybe I missed that.
Oh, it might be my own hosted sign up, my hosted form for my newsletter. It might be that.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I don't know the best way to give that to you. I could just, I don't know. I don't want to take up time and navigate to do that now. I don't know. Um,
Oh, I did. I mentioned that. I will send you the link. Yeah, I mentioned an example of somebody else in the cohort that had a great pop-up form. I will send
there
it.
you
Yeah.
go.
Okay, great. Thank you. Got it. Yes, we worked very lots of calls to get that pop-up form together, but it looks great. So, yes.
Good.
Okay, I think that was your last question, Donna. Um, and you've given us all the ways that we can get in contact with you, especially on LinkedIn. You're very good at sharing all the latest and greatest, even before Mailchimp does. So I love that. That's why I always stay connected. So y'all follow Donna on LinkedIn and sign up for her newsletter and be sure to get all the tips and tricks. William, did you have anything before to close out with Donna before we
Yeah,
log
I
off?
just thank you again. I did throw her email and website in the chat, so copy and paste those where you want to keep them safe, and then reach out to her if you have other questions. She's open to kind of navigating any kind of questions you may have in the future. So, wanted to end with that, and thank you so much, Donna, for being here. It's
You're
been a pleasure.
welcome. Thank you so much, guys.
Mhm.
Thank you. All right. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.